Let's now welcome the participants. First, the defending champion from Greenwich, London, England. His professional record, 21 wins, 2 defeats, with 20 of his 21 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome the reigning and defending IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Well, here comes Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, now the reigning IBF World Heavyweight Champion. And that is an ear-to-ear smile from Daniel Dubois, though suggesting that maybe he wouldn't enjoy events like this. Maybe he'd be sheepish, maybe he'd be nervous. Well, I'm not sure they were right, because he is taking in every moment here the new IBF World Heavyweight Champion, and there is that IBF crown. And there is Daniel Dubois, Andy.
Didn't waste any time on that walk, did he? He did look like he was enjoying it, but he paced down that carpet, ready for the pictures, ready to have a couple of conversations with us and with our broadcast colleagues and with the media in general. And then I think he'll look to get out of here as soon as he reasonably can. But that's just him, isn't it? You know, he will admit that this is not his favourite thing in the world. He doesn't hate it. It's just, it's something he can live without.
Daniel, fight week, a huge fight week is here as you look to defend your IBF title on Saturday. How are you feeling?
Good, confident, just relaxing, just soaking it all up, soaking up the energy. It's good.
This will be your first time fighting at Wembley Stadium. How are you mentally preparing yourself for what is to come? Record-breaking crowds and the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm just going to feed off of that energy and just build it up. I can't wait for it, you know. It's my time. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, you've been saying you want to fight AJ for a long time. You've been calling out his name. You've been saying you want the fight. Is now the right time, your time, to be taking this fight?
Yeah, definitely. You guys are going to see this is my time. I'm the man, so I need to, go out there and legitimize it. I'm the champ.
We've seen a few times in the build-up, you have said you were going to knock AJ out. Now we're in fight week. Do you stand by that? Is that how the fight goes on Saturday?
Yes, by any means necessary. Victory. That's it.
Best of luck.
Good stuff. Thank you.
A gold medalist, he now has a professional record of 28 wins, 3 defeats, with 25 of his 28 wins coming by way of knockout. Let's welcome the former 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, AJ Anthony Joshua.
Well, here is Anthony Joshua, former 2-time unified world heavyweight champion, aiming to make history on Saturday night. He will become a 3-time world heavyweight champion with a win over Daniel Dubois. He would join a very, very elite club, a club that not many heavyweights have been a part of, and a club that he believes he will be a part of on Saturday night.
Absolutely. He's resolute. He has to be, that this is going to be his night. It's fascinating talking to fighters, particularly heavyweights, about their mentality approaching a fight. They all agree they need to have that acceptance that the business you're in means that you could get knocked out, and you can use that to drive you during training, to fuel you. But then when you get to the week, you have to perform this switch where you then decide that what you've previously admitted could happen definitely is not going to happen. And that's where they both are now. Tunnel vision, thinking about the win, thinking about how to best spend the next however many hours before that bell goes.
Well, speaking to Moses Italma the other day, of course, the rising heavyweight star who is in the same gym as Anthony Joshua, and Moses said that he has seen it flick with AJ. He asked AJ if he was ready, and AJ replied with an expletive and said, yes, I'm ready. So this is a man very much ready to go, resurgent under Ben Davison. Forget the old AJ, this is a new AJ.
Not many people get this, do they? Not many athletes get this. You think about individual sports and you see open-top bus parades for teams, and I've seen some homecoming parades for Olympic athletes, but for individuals, and he is the main man on this card, to get this kind of reception and have this kind of occasion, you just don't really see it in other sports. You don't really see it too much in other industries. Yes, film stars are celebrated and famous, but there's something about fighters. There always has been. That's why people write books about them. That's why people make films about them, that they have this kind of mystique. They can appear to be relatable. These two are a good example. Johnny Nelson and Matt Macklin do a great job of appearing to be relatable, normal people in the way that they talk about boxing, but they're not, because fighters are not. It's the way you're made. You cannot be. And Joshua, he's like that, isn't he? You know, he is a down-to-earth guy. He's always tried to do things the right way, do the right thing. He's got time for people. It's easy to feel like he's like someone you know, but he isn't like anyone you've ever met.
No, you're right. I think he's a really decent fella, but, you know, he's been a superstar, really, from his whole pro career. You know, to win an Olympic gold medal in London, he was just launched into the spotlight, wasn't he? And, you know, like I said, 7 years ago, getting off the canvas to beat Klitschko, you know, that shock defeat in Madison Square Garden, rebuilding, coming back, losing it again. Here he is again. It's like his star quality, his profile, his fame and popularity is on another level.
Well, there is not a street in the UK that he can walk down without being stopped, without being recognised, without being asked for selfies. It's kind of like yourself, Johnny.
AJ is going to milk this. I've seen him many times after a fight. He's like stayed there and taking pictures with absolutely everybody from the ring, and like his team saying, come on, let's get in. So I think he really is giving back to the fans. I think he's probably stung a little bit by the fans' reaction when things weren't going great, but I think he's probably fallen back in love with it again. He's thinking, this is my platform, this is what I do. I'm in fight mode now. I'll say hello to everybody and get the job done. He'll take his time. That's another 15 minutes we're waiting, mate.
Well, we are seeing fans hanging out of windows here just to catch a glimpse of Anthony Joshua, but he has gone through it. Fans can be fickle. We've talked about hero to zero. He's had those moments as well that he's had to come through, Andy.
Yeah, he absolutely has, and you feel it. You know, it's impossible not to feel it, because I mentioned that stadium tour, Wembley, Cardiff, Wembley, and he was so big at that point. We were lucky enough to cover all those fights, and you're on the inside of something, this massive machine, and you're aware at the time of just how big it is. And then, of course, he goes to America and loses to Andy Ruiz in the most unexpected circumstances, wins the rematch, but it's not in the UK. And then, of course, we have COVID, which was just the most extraordinary thing, where everything went on hold. And he boxed against Pulev, but in front of 1,000 people. And then Usyk, he gets beaten by Usyk and beaten comfortably, and then he loses a rematch, and what happened after the fight with him seizing the microphone, and that will be imprinted on people's brains. And as I said previously, the reboot, apart from Ngannou, will have escaped them to an extent. So it's been a roller coaster ride. And I think at times, I remember talking to him before the Jermaine Franklin fight, and he was saying, I'm just doing this for me now. I don't really care what anyone else thinks. But you could tell from the way he said it, Matt, that he was still bruised at that point by the reaction that people had given him to losing twice to an exceptional fighter in Usyk.
It'd be impossible not to be bruised from it. You know, the scrutiny that these guys are under, their profile, their level of fame. You know, it's a cruel business, boxing, you know what I mean? Hero to zero, you know what I mean? It's nothing as ruthless as it. I mean, don't get me wrong, all sports can be ruthless to some level. But in football, you play terrible today, you're playing next week, you can redeem yourself pretty quickly. It takes a while to get yourself back up there in boxing, you know. And he'll know that, you know, because he's felt that a couple of times now. So he knows that Saturday night, if he doesn't win, he'll be getting slated again. If he wins, he's a hero again. It's that boxing, it's that brutal.
That is the fickle nature of some boxing fans. I'll tell you what's interesting here is Anthony Joshua most certainly taking his time. You could probably add together the walks of all of the other fighters tonight, and it would still probably be about half of what AJ's done so far. Not a fan hasn't got a selfie. Every fan's got a glove signed. It's nice to see.
It's really good to see. It's really good to see, because we've seen this firsthand. We've been lucky, you know. We've been there pretty much all the way, and he's a private kind of a guy, so I wouldn't say that I've ever really got to know him particularly well, but you see the scrutiny and you see the attention and you see the criticism. And it doesn't matter whether people claim it's personal or not personal, you will take it personally because you are a person and people are talking about you and they're questioning sometimes, oh, how much does he really want this? Is he really made for this? And these are people who care more about what they do than you can possibly imagine us ordinary mortals, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be where they are.
Don't take it personally, it's just business. Well, this business is very personal to me because I am the business. Do you know what I mean? He is the boxer, he's the business. So of course it's personal, how can you not? But I also wonder, you know, he's soaking up there, he's smiling, he's got time for everyone. I wonder, is he thinking, there ain't going to be too many more of these? You know, he's nearly 35 years old. He's, you know, if he wins on Saturday, he's a 3-time world champion. Obviously, then they'll look to do the Fury or the Usyk rematch, whichever. But whatever way it goes, there's not going to be, you know, he's in the tail end of his career now, isn't he? So I wonder, is he more conscious to really soak it up and be present and enjoy the moment as it's happening, rather than, you know, I can't wait to get there, and then you get there and you're looking back going, oh, weren't they great days? When actually, when you were living them, you wanted to be somewhere in the future. You know, actually getting into this present moment and enjoying it as it's happening in real time. You know, that's what it looks like he's doing to me.
That'll be a good question to ask him, actually, in a few minutes. Is he taking his time here for exactly the reasons you've just given? And I suspect the answer is probably yes. Not because he never thinks it'll happen again, but boxing, we wouldn't have predicted that Saudi would become his second home, his first home, you could argue now.
Exactly.
Well, the fans have most certainly gathered here. Just a reminder where we are. This isn't a film premiere, by the way. This isn't Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise. This isn't Hollywood. This is the Riyadh season card, Wembley Stadium edition. And that Saudi magic is being sprinkled on Leicester Square. Anthony Joshua takes on Daniel Dubois on Saturday night. The IBF World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line. Anthony Joshua, you can see now, aiming to become a 3-time World Heavyweight Champion. He would join a very, very small club. Daniel Dubois looking to retain his belt, looking to show that he belongs at the elite level of heavyweights. I can't wait for this one, Andy.
No, the anticipation for it, for me, has been building for weeks, because I've always made Dubois a very, very live underdog. I do make Joshua a favourite. I think you have to. I don't think there's any logic in not doing that when you look at his resume and also recent performances. But Dubois is completely legit, and he is the champion. Let's remember, this isn't Anthony Joshua, the champion, giving a fellow Brit a voluntary because a Brit versus a Brit does good numbers. That's not what this is. He's the challenger. He'll walk first on the weekend at Wembley, which, you know, it's not something he's never done before. But that's the situation that we'll have. And having beaten Hrgovic, Dubois, as we've been saying, he is here on merit. And everybody loves an all-British fight.
Oh, absolutely.
Nothing like it.
I think that would have been the dream, really, for the Wembley Stadium edition of the Riyadh season card. 2 British heavyweights who can both bang with a World Heavyweight Championship on the line, and that is most certainly what we have. Let's hear from Anthony Joshua.
Another huge fight week begins for you. You're a seasoned pro at these, but how do you feel going into it? You know, events like this and the fans welcoming you.
It's a blessing, a big blessing. We're the most important thing for people right now, so they're all here, coming out to have a good time with us. Makes me feel important.
Yeah, how does it feel? I mean, there was a lot of autographs, a lot of pictures you just did. Do you mind that during a fight week?
Nah, not at all, because I'll never forget, I started boxing late, so I still do, I look up to a lot of people, and if I could put myself on the other side of the fence. I've been on the other side of the fence. I haven't always been on the red carpet, so I always understand, now I'm on the red carpet, how to treat people. I'm never going to just turn my nose up at people. That's just not my style.
Let's look ahead to Saturday night.
Yeah.
Got a round of applause there. Let's look ahead to Saturday night at Wembley Stadium. You have fought there 3 times before, but this time it looks like it's going to break all records in terms of the British crowd. Comparison to the other ones, how big is Saturday night?
Massive. Don't feel it at the minute because I'm still in like training camp. But I think on Saturday, I'm going to be standing behind the curtain and they're going to say, Anthony, 10 seconds. And I'm going to walk out into the stadium and we're going to feel that energy. And that's when it gets real. So at the minute, we're still like hours away. So I'm chilled out.
Yeah, you seem more chilled out, relaxed and confident ahead of this. Is that due to the fact of your great recent performances, the new team you've got around you and the setup that you've got?
No, just my mentality is, if I draw a line and I put fear on one side and confidence on another, but I'm still going into the ring, what one am I going to choose? I'm confident. I believe in myself, and I think that's the right mentality to have.
Obviously, this is Riyadh season, Wembley edition.
Massive.
You're a Riyadh season ambassador. How proud does it make you that this is here in London?
100%. I've never had a red carpet in my life. But this is a blessing. They're doing big things. And it's good that we're doing like joint ventures together now. I've been in Saudi. It's good to be home. And even though I'm home, it's not small. They've made it massive. I'm fighting a Queensberry promotion fighter as well. So it's a new age for boxing, a golden era, if you ask me. And I hope that the next generation coming through can benefit from all this as well. It's not just about our generation, it's the next generation coming through.
Definitely. Well, best of luck this week.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.